listen
Yes.
to me. What would it feel like? So you're scared of hate, but I'm going to ask you another question. What would it feel like if you didn't manipulate someone and they chose to love you instead? If they actually said, you know what, despite all of your BS and with you just being you and without manipulating me, I love you. How would that make you feel?
There would be a comma afterwards. I say, I love you. Now we're late for Quidditch is what I would hear. That's how crazy again it is to me. Like, that's what I would hear. Like, oh, even though you didn't, make me feel a certain way about you, I love you. Let's go win for Gryffindor. Like, that is how Oh man, I did not sleep at all. Good Lord.
Sorry to hear that, man.
No. It's totally fine. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just,
Okay.
I didn't sleep. Okay.
So how have you been?
I'm still alive. I think that's pretty much a blessing at this point.
Good.
That's what I was gonna tell you. So do you remember when, like, last time you told me, well, I said I was gonna clean my room?
Okay.
Like at the end of it all, I said that. Well, you'll be happy to know that I kind of took that in a different direction. I cleaned my room, but I also found a new place to live that is not with a bunch of people that don't pay rent.
Good for you.
Yeah, that is huge, but yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Because I think that's more significant. I mean, it sounds very significant to me, because not just from a financial perspective, but let's think about, why were you living with people who didn't pay rent? Like, what drove you to do that?
Well, I think like, I've always worked a lot of jobs, and I don't spend a lot of money on just myself. So when my first video on YouTube blew up and I saw the money that I was making, I just was like, oh man, I could just live with my best friends forever. This is my path to being Drake. Like, I thought I was going to go so far that money, whatever, like, we could just live together. That didn't happen. But at the time, I thought that was going to happen. So when things started slowing down and getting bad after 4 years of doing it, I didn't really know how to live alone or live with less people. So I kind of just kept it going and added more people. And now I'm in crippling debt and I'm alone.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, okay. So how does that feel to be in crippling debt and alone?
The question. I mean, it feels, honestly, the debt feels right. It feels like an ample punishment, because I also think that, like, by paying for everything for everybody, I also believe I kind of ruined their lives a bit. Like, I spoiled them and I didn't do anything with it. I would tell people, like, during my depression, oh yeah, we're gonna, like, videos are coming back, we're gonna work, like, we got this, just stay, we got this. And then I never worked. And that was like an ongoing cycle for the next 3 years. So it's like, I feel like with debt and guilt, it's a pretty good punishment. It's pretty terrible.
Okay. And how does it feel to be alone?
I think I will be okay. Like, I think that I just need space to be, like, just me. And so I'm looking forward to that. Like, it feels good because I'm moving a lot of my stuff, like, today, tomorrow, the next day. And it feels good that I actually was brave enough to just end the cycle. So it's been so hard. So, like, I don't know how it's going to be, but right now I'm very confident that if I'm only financially taking care of myself and I'm only doing things that are, like, important for me instead of putting everyone else first, I'm hoping that'll be the catalyst that starts change to make me come back to everything I was doing before.
So Sky, I think it's great because I think there was something within you that felt like a sense of your identity was in supporting other people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so you sort of let that part of you, which I think is basically, a part of your ego. And so like in order to be a good person, you had to like help other people and pay their rent. And like, I have no doubt that there was genuine caring involved in terms of like, wanting your friends and, to have an easy time, and that your success you wanted to share your success and all this other kind of good stuff. But I think it's actually a huge step forward if you've let those voices stop running the show and drive you into crippling debt, because that's what those voices do.
Yes, a zillion percent. I will say this though, it kind of sucks because along the way, like I had made friends that didn't need money. Like I had made friends like when I was be at home versus like going out to conventions like PAX and whatnot. Like I would have friends that are just there to chill. I didn't have to pay for anything. I could just relax. And it sucked because like I don't know. This lifestyle kind of ruined a lot of those relationships because I wasn't even sure how to be a good friend. Like I treated them like absolute garbage because I thought that, I could just solve any problem by paying them. But then if I couldn't, it's like, oh, okay, I don't have any problem solving skills now. Like,
yeah,
guess I'm just fucked.
So let's think about that for a second. Why do you think that you treated your friends that didn't need your help like garbage? Like that's strange, right? One would expect, turns out to not be very strange, but one would expect that that those would be the relationships that would have been the healthiest and that you would have cultivated the most, but it seems like the opposite actually happened.
I guess because my actions that I would normally do towards people that lived with me, I did them on others that didn't live with me and really stuck their neck out for me, which is like, one of them let me borrow like without any hesitation at all, dropped $8,100 literally like the next day when I needed it, right? And 2 years down the road, I didn't even begin to talk about paying them back. I probably could have if I budgeted correctly. And there's a lot of people out there that I owe money to. A lot. Like whatever you think is a lot, triple it, and that's half. Like, so with this particular case though, she was so hurt that I didn't like talk to her about it, because in my world I'm thinking, oh, if someone gives me money after all these years, like people that live with me, I pretty much deserve it at that point. Like after I've given hundreds of thousands of dollars for rent, food, all the shit that we did, it's like I'm definitely not going to pay you back. But with the people outside of the home, I didn't have the knowledge, like the basic human decency to just like honor an agreement. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even think about it, and it fucked me up really bad. I mean, it darned me up.
It darned you up? Yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks for being sensitive about your language. I appreciate that. I'm going to pause for a second because somebody just gifted a bunch of subs. So thanks, Nerd Rage SC2.
Yeah, good.
I don't know who that is, but thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. But kind of coming back to Sky. So Sky, what do you want to talk about today? How can I help you? I mean, we could dig into that if you want to, in your relationships and why you perceive your relationships like that. But is there something do you feel like, because last time you sent me that voicemail, which was really fantastic, actually.
Wait, which one?
You sent me like a voicemail that you recorded, like you sent me like this this voice message that was like you were in bed and trying to fall asleep and you had some thoughts and you sent me this.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can talk.
I got to remember what I said.
You were talking about like when you should start making changes.
Oh yeah.
So what do you want to talk about? You tell me, like, what would be helpful?
Okay. I think we already discussed like the feeling of it being too late to do things. I got this. I'm gonna think because I put notes. That's right. I had notes. I'm so dumb. When I had reached out.
Do you want me to just? I don't think there's any.
Oh yeah. If I start right this second, will it prove that I won't procrastinate, or is it better to start later after I've had preparation? Like, is jumping into something cold turkey the way to go, or is waiting and being prepared better, or are they both rationalizations? That's what I was confused about.
Yeah.
That killed it.
So you tell me, what are we talking? Is there something particular on your mind? Do you want to dig into that? Do you want to talk about friendships? Tell me, what do you think would be productive?
That. So
okay.
I want to know.
Can I read people? Can I play the voicemail for people?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I still have it. Hold on.
Oh Lord.
It's not. I don't think it's not like.
No, I know. It's just.
Oh, maybe I don't have it. I thought
you do. If you look in our group chat.
Oh, it's in the group chat.
And yeah, you just scroll up. There's a big black square.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, so you all ready, chat? We're gonna listen.
Okay, this is like super unprofessional, and I'm sorry for doing it this way. But I'm about to sleep, my voice is dead, and then I had this thought, and I'm totally down to like talk about this on another stream if you'll have me. But I wanted to ask, when it comes to life changes, like things that we talked about, is that something that I should just do immediately?
Oh shit, sorry.
Okay, this is like to like talk about this on another stream if you'll have me. But I wanted to ask, when it comes to life changes, like things that we talked about, is that something that I should just do immediately right now, or is there merit of like setting a date to start? Like, do you think like setting a date is rationalizing it? Like, what would be the wisest way to affect change in a healthy manner?
The hell was on my arm?
Is like kind of my question. Again, so sorry. This is like super
it's really dark.
All right, do you guys get that? So let's go back to this. Okay. So what do you think?
I can't tell when I'm manipulating myself or people. I don't know how to tell, and it's getting bad because even if I'm like now when I talk, I could be telling the truth, but everyone will think I'm manipulating. But then am I? Like, that's like, I don't even know, like that. That's why I sent that, because I was thinking about everything you said about, or that really helpful session about, going on stage, giving it your all, but then being content because that was the best you could have done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that is genius, but I don't know when to start. And I can't tell if my brain is tricking me or not. So that's the topic.
So I think so first of all, you've taken the first important step, which is realizing that your brain loves to trick you. Right?
Is that normal?
It's completely normal. It's very normal. So that and even then you were saying that, oh, like sometimes like I'm telling the truth and people think I'm being manipulative. I think some of the times when you're the most manipulative guy is when you tell the truth. And right?
No, I mean, damn.
So just because you're telling the truth doesn't mean it isn't manipulative.
I cannot understand that.
You cannot, you don't.
I don't get. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, well,
how are you like manipulating the truth or?
Nope. So I think manipulation. So let's define manipulation, right? So what is manipulation?
I guess changing, or maybe not reforming. What's the word I'm looking for? Like bothering an object or an idea. I'm trying to find the right words.
It's a hard question, harder than it seems.
I'm gonna say changing something by way of not it's something with malicious intent. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah. Changing something with malicious intent is great. Right? Oh. So I think it's sort of like controlling someone's behavior, usually like altering something for the purpose of controlling someone else's behavior, and like with some degree of like malicious intent, or you're kind of taking advantage of them, it's like a little bit immoral. There's something in there. I don't know that it's necessarily malicious intent, but I basically think about manipulating someone as sort of altering information or tailoring information to control someone else's behavior. Like that's what manipulation is. Manipulation is about controlling other human beings, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes one of the best ways you can control other human beings is by telling the truth.
Oh my Jesus Christ. Okay.
Right. So I think that you do some manipulative stuff. You're kind of an open book, but I think you understand how being an open book can be advantageous to you. And I think you calculate something about that.
I think that you're right for the most part, but I'm not lying when I say that I just don't know when the manipulation switch is on.
I completely agree with you. I do not blame you for manipulating, okay? To be clear. So I think manipulation happens a lot of times when we don't even want it to, but it happens almost so like, why do you want to control another person's behavior? Like what's like, when you think about when you manipulate, when one human being manipulates another human being, what is the main thing that drives them? What drives the manipulation?
To make sure that they don't do anything bad that has anything to do with you, maybe.
Yes. So if you had to attach an emotion to that, what is the emotion that one feels when I don't want you to do something bad to me? What is the emotion I'm feeling?
I don't want you to do something. Fear?
Absolutely. Right?
Oh, thank God.
So,
Jeopardy.
It's weird, right? So like, I know that this stuff seems really simple in a sense it is, but we don't ever stop and like think about what actually drives us. And you can get to the answer. It's just like, you're doing great, Sky. So the first thing to understand is when you manipulate people out of fear. Like if you think about it, like if I, let's say I'm married and let's use a real example. So, my wife doesn't want me to play as many video games as I play. And so then she's like, oh, like how late, like I have trouble waking up on the weekends. And then she's like, okay, like how late were you up? And then I want to manipulate the information a little bit, right? I'm like, oh, I did a little bit of work and I played some Dota. I sort of say like both of those things, even though the little bit of work may have been 60 seconds and then the Dota may have been 2 hours, but like I sort of present it like I did both of those things. Like that's manipulation, right? It's manipulation.
Yes.
So in that moment, like, why am I manipulating? Like, what is the drive behind me manipulating? Can you guess?
I mean, I would say in that case, it's like, I think it sounds like you kind of know your body and I guess what's best for you. So maybe you did that because you didn't want to elicit a reaction that would be disastrous. So you wanted to save that.
Exactly. So I'm trying to control another person's behavior, right? I didn't want to elicit a reaction that is not going to like affect me well. Because if he gets pissed at me, then like, that causes marital problems. Fine. So
were you conscious, like in that example, like, are you saying that knowing fully well what you're doing 100%?
Me at this point, usually.
Oh.
But that takes practice, right? So it takes practice. So the first thing, so then like if the goal of manipulation is to control someone's behavior, and then if the reason you want to control their behavior is to prevent a particular outcome, where's the root of the desire to manipulate coming from? That question may be a little bit abstract.
I have no clue.
So like, what is the thing that's driving the manipulation? Let me ask it that way. We were kind of talking about emotions earlier.
Like for me, I guess like actually, God, it all lined up. So just like how you said, right, that 30 seconds or a minute of work and 2 hours of Dota, I did the same thing for about 5 years when it came to people I was living with, like how much money was actually needed to like maintain this lifestyle. And then like I know that I would definitely like not be honest about how much I was paying for rent or who was paying rent or how many people, was I doing this for, but I would be telling the truth and explaining that yes, there are people that don't pay things. Yes, rent is high. Yes, I pay everything, but I was never like forthcoming with the information. I was really afraid that anyone would just call me an idiot because I was being one. Like,
So
because it was so like, yeah.
So good. So what's the driving force there? You said
not,
it. You said it, but
yeah,
I'm gonna
just to not have someone think that I'm a complete idiot.
Yeah. So and that too, you said you were afraid that someone was gonna call you an idiot. Right?
And also everyone, like, it's so obvious to everyone else. Like, and it's so stupid that I'm sitting here and I'm like literally putting myself in a lifetime out of debt. But yet when I when I tell my problems to literally anyone, even at the peak of their honesty, like everyone, it was all the same. Like, dude, you gotta leave. You gotta live by yourself. Like, you should do this, man. That's so dumb. And it's hard because it's like, I can't do that. Like, I don't know why I couldn't do that. And for everyone else, it's like they're all gods. They all could do it. If they were me, they'd be doing it right now. And it's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Okay, so there are two layers of this, Sky. I'm going to try to keep track of both of them. I'm going to start with manipulation because this is very important. I think this could help a lot of people. So fear is what drives your manipulative tendencies, right?
Yep.
So if you're saying, I don't know when I'm manipulating and when I'm not manipulating, what can you look at within yourself to give you a clue whether there's manipulation or there's not manipulation?
What I'm scared of?
Absolutely. Right? So you look for fear.
Right.
You look for fear because you have learned, like, so remember, manipulation it's not about evil. That's why I don't like the word malicious. Manipulation in your case, I think, is predominantly about protection. It's your mind trying to protect you from everyone calling you an idiot because you have the curse of being smart. And you know that what you're doing is stupid. And you know that if other people know what you're doing, they're going to tell you things that they're going to say it's stupid, they're going to think you're stupid, and they're going to give you solutions that any idiot could do, but you're not going to be able to do them. And you know that. Because what keeps those people in your house is not IQ, it's feelings. And like feelings they don't care about what the rationale is. Like the reason that you've been like keeping people in your house, and I don't know where this goes, but we can explore it. But like, somewhere along the way, and we've talked some about your past, is like you want to support people, you want to help people, like you don't want to abandon them because you've been fucking abandoned. And you don't want, you want people to be like safe and comfortable, and like that didn't happen for you. So I think there's something there. We can go there if you want to. But let's table that for a second if you're okay with it. I'm just highlighting a little bit because I don't think it's idiocy that keeps these people in your house. Right? That is actually coming from some kind of positive emotion within you. Because if you think about the stupider an action is, the more powerful the thing has to be within you that like gets it done. So this is another thing that I see a lot is people judge themselves for doing like astronomically idiotic shit. And what I want all of you guys to understand is that if you're doing something that everyone else is calling stupid, that just makes you feel more and more incompetent, but that's incomplete. That's not right. It's not that you're stupid. It's that there is something within you that is driving you so hard that it overcomes how glaringly idiotic it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we'll get to, let's go back to fear and manipulation. But I think, when you say like, oh, it's like all these people would call me stupid, like you don't want them to think that about you. But what's really going on is like, I don't think they understand, right? Like Sky, they don't get it. They don't understand why you do what you do. You may not even get it. You may not understand why you do what you do. All you know is that what they think is simple, you're not going to be able to do that. You just can't kick everyone out of your house.
And fuck this. I mean, darn. This is a bombshell, I think. I don't know. The whole time you were talking, I was struggling to see if I should say this, but I will. I mean, in a good amount of those cases, they would call me an idiot, but I believe that they also wouldn't give me money. They wouldn't let me borrow anything. if they knew that it was going to all these people that are just pretty much freeloading.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to just say that I'm the target and not let anyone know that they're not doing what they need to do, because I don't want them to be scrutinized, but I certainly don't want to be scrutinized. It's like I wanted to say that the lifestyle worked for me, and I did genuinely believe that while I was depressed, if I just kept this lifestyle going, like my friends would eventually uplift me and I would be back on my feet in no time. So whatever money I borrowed from someone, it was always like, oh man, that's a lot, but I can do it now. Like, I'm feeling better. And then it never got better. And then having a bunch of people here then turned into the worst decision I've ever made. Like that's my thing, is that through it all, I've tarnished all of my social relationships to maintain this lifestyle. And now it's like, even the people living here, I've never been this alone in my life. Easy. Like, so alone. Like, it's nuts. I'm just annoying to everybody now on the internet. And that sucks to know. That's all I had to say.
It's quite a bit. What are you feeling right now?
Terrible.
Yeah, that I can gather.
Yeah.
In what
it's
dimension? What dimension?
Yeah. I mean, this is all like retribution, though, right? Like everyone that's been canceled online has like they're typically trying to do something and forget the past. Well, then they get canceled for something that was brought up. And I've always thought, like, I have a lot of actions that I've done in my home that definitely could raise a cancel, like, for sure. But to me, my punishment is, again, debt until I'm dead and being alone. Like, I feel like, even like I feel like I did all of this damage to myself almost entirely. No one else is to blame. And that's really hard for me to live with. Like, really, really hard. I can't do it sometimes.
How long have you been living with that?
Oh, like ever since 2015. Like yeah, 100% around then. When my channel started going down when I was depressed, I just felt like, damn, even though depression, you can
Sky,
say,
do you think everything that happens to you is your fault?
Yes, 100%. Times 10. Everything that happens to me, good or bad, is a direct action of me. 100%.
How long have you believed
I don't see
that?
how it could be any other way.
What? How long have you believed that?
My whole life.
Okay. What does it mean if that isn't true?
To me, that's like if that's not true, then also in that world where it's not true, humans can also fly. Like, they could just soar into the air. Because to me, I think that whatever action you took, I just always thought, well, I did this action, or like I was a catalyst in this way, so I shouldn't have done that. Kind of asked for it, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to say something to you, okay? So, like, sometimes when I work with people, they say things like, oh, yeah, the fact that it was my fault that he hit me because I should have done a better job at, like, cleaning up. It wasn't his fault. It was my fault. What do you think about that?
Oh, shit. Yeah, for that person, maybe. Oh,
Just be
man.
honest. Be honest, Sky.
I don't think it's the person that got hit. It's not their fault. My brain is short circuiting right now.
Okay, good. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And let's understand what's the short circuit.
Because it's pain. Because it's not. Holy shit. Okay. this is the hardest thing. Okay, it's not the person that got hit. It's not their fault. But they were a part of the act. No, that's stupid. It doesn't matter if they were part of it. They got hit by a monster. Fuck. They're in it, I guess. They're doing it.
So tell me what you're feeling.
Just that sound is how I'm feeling.
Yeah. So let me try to put words to that sound, okay?
Yes, thank you.
So, first of all, I think you're doing great, Sky. Sorry for bodying you.
This is so hard. Like,
yeah, I know. But do you want to take a break or?
Yeah, no. We should dive right in. I'm good. I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay. So I think here's what's going on within you. So you know that that's not that person's fault, right? Like when they get hit and they say, "Oh, it's because I didn't do X, Y, Z. Like I should have been better." There's a part of you that knows that it's ridiculous that we call that the person who got hit is not the perpetrator, they're the victim. The problem is, like, if I make you say that, you say, like, that's true for them, but it's not true for me. But, like, how can I say that it's not true for me? Because that's just fucking stupid. Yeah, but it isn't true for me.
God,
That's
exactly it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank God. If I was left alone with that would have been the end of Skyward.
Okay. Right. So that can be so good job. Right. And the feeling is good. I think you actually did a very good job of describing how you felt. Right. Which is like that. It's like an existential grunt. It's like just like a torturous, like you can't, because it doesn't compute. Like, you know that you shouldn't feel this way about yourself, but you do. And it doesn't matter how true that scenario is for this fictional person. It does not apply to you. You are different. And you have trouble computing that together. And your thing is blurry, by the way. Your mic. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say that, first of all, you're great. And second of all, the reason why I would think that I'm different is because I think that I was born with a lot of advantages that makes it so those kinds of situations, I believe it's very hard for that to happen to me. Like, for example, like, okay, I'm like 6'5" if I don't hunch my back. So it's like, I don't really have to worry about walking to my car. I'm huge. No one's going to attack me. And they think that I'm going to fight them. I'm a bitch. I will run, but they don't think that. So, like, in that scenario, if someone were to jump me, right? Sure, that's not my fault. But in my mind, it's like, that is probably not going to happen because I have a set of skills and physical attributes that make it difficult for those things to happen to me.
Yeah, but I mean, pardon me for being insensitive, but
no, please be insensitive.
So first of all, this is a belief that it wasn't born today, right? The belief that everything that happens to you is your fault was not born today. You felt this way, as you say, your whole life. Often,
ever since the rape, I felt that times 10.
You think, right?
Yeah.
So like this is
if I wasn't on AOL.
And so this is the thing. Back then you weren't 6'5", right? And you weren't an adult. You were a kid. And and this is unfortunately what happens to people who have been abused, is they think that it's their fault, especially when they're kids. And it's funny, I just talked about this, but what are you feeling?
I mean, I think it was my fault, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then when I look at even things that I do now, my channel, my Twitch, my friendships, my debt, all of it, my fault. Entirely, 100%.
So, Sky, what does it mean if it isn't your fault? What does the world look like?
Like I said, people, I open the window right now and Harry Potter is about to draft me for Quidditch. Like that's
So-
the same world.
So yeah, so let's dig into that, because I think this has to be approached, okay? So I think right now, so let's remember that our mind does things for a reason, okay? And our mind is really trying to help us out. A lot of times it doesn't do as good of a job as we want it to, but that's just because it doesn't know how to do any better. So let's think about why your worldview is so difficult to abandon. So right now, the good thing about your worldview is that it makes sense. Right? Like, it makes sense that you live in a world where you are an actor, like, isn't, you can take action, not like you're fake, but that you are like an actor in the world and you exert agency in the world and the world responds to you. So the world makes sense because, like, you know, you're playing a video game and you control the character, and if you hit the spacebar, the character jumps, and that's just, it makes sense. Every time you hit the spacebar, the character jumps. So this is a world that makes sense. You also have control over this world if you are responsible for everything that happens to you. That also means you have hope, right? If you can learn how to be a better person, then you can create the life that you want. You can create a life where you're safe. You can create a life where you're loved. You can create a life where you're wealthy. You can create a life where you're comfortable. All of these things are within your power, if only you figure out how. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounded great. I was lost. I was like, damn, sign me up for that.
Yeah, so that's the beautiful thing about the world that you've constructed. Because you, at the end of the day, like, all of these things are possible for you, but it's kind of, you feeling something?
Yeah, I'm feeling, just kidding, drink water. You can continue. You're good.
I'm curious what you're feeling.
I'm just waiting for Harry Potter behind me in this world to come and strap me up.
But
I want to hear more, so I don't think Harry Potter's out there.
okay, so I think the challenge here, though, is that, like, that's not actually the way the world works, right? Because, like, the hard thing about giving up your worldview is you give up control for your future. If other people are involved, like, let's say there's two kinds of world. Like, there's a single player game and there's a multiplayer game. Yes. And if you're playing a single player game, then you can control everything in the game. But if you're playing multiplayer and I'm running around and, like, I get, like, PvP'd and ganked.
Yes.
Then, like, I don't want to live in the multiplayer world because other people can interfere with me. And so
they feed.
Huh?
Sorry. I'm saying they feed. Like, if I play with someone,
yeah, they're going to feed like noobs. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
And so it can actually be, like, a little bit dangerous to think about living in a multiplayer world because, like, you're actually not in control, and that thought is terrifying. Like,
yeah. Ew. Yeah, I don't like that.
and especially especially when we look at for example, victims of traumatic experiences. So this is going to be kind of a random thing, but oftentimes people who are anorexic or have eating disorders, that's oftentimes linked to an abusive relationship in their early years. So they have, especially, like, a parent or something who was, like, really mean to them or something, or had conditional affection or things like that. And if you talk to these people, like, so eating disorders, the root issue, if you talk to people, is it's about control. So someone like a 15-year-old girl with anorexia, like all of the ones that I've worked with, when I talk to them, it's all about control. They can't control their parents, they can't control their grades, but they can control what they put in their body. And it's this really bizarre sense of control. And the more you try to control what they eat, the more they fight and the more they rebel. They just want to be able to, it's all about control, control, control. It's not about intelligence. You can show them as much information that you want to about them getting osteoporosis at a young age or electrolyte balances or things like that. Oftentimes these people, when they're very severe, they get hospitalized against their will because they're not eating and their body is, like, literally dying and their heart is getting arrhythmias at the age of 15, which they should not have. And they just, you cannot communicate with them on any kind of rational level because for them it's all about control. They cannot surrender control because early on in their life, they did not have it, and the thought of not having again is absolutely terrifying. Because you will tell yourself whatever you can to not be 12 years old and on AOL again. Because in that moment in your life, you didn't have control, and there's no fucking way you're willing to go back to that state. And you're 6'5" when you stand up straight, and you are in control, and the world is going to give you what you deserve, and you are going to create what the world gives you.
But like, it wasn't like I just like logged on to AOL and then a dude came and raped me. Like, it was way more than that. Like, I was literally like in a gay chat room trying to get information about, you know, being a semen demon, and that happened. A guy DM'd me and lied to me about who he was. We talked for a bit. I think he doxed the hell out of me, which is why when he asked, oh my God, I'm so mad when he asked if I lived downstairs. I did not even think why anybody would ask me that. Or to this day, I like, if I could just go back in time and just be like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, everything else is fine. Tell him you live upstairs in your parents' room. He'll break in and die. But no, I had to answer that.
Yeah. So why are you telling me that? What are you doing? What are you using those statements for? What's the function of your words in this conversation?
Because that action is not just a one-way thing. Like, there are things that I could have done to prevent it. And I just feel like it didn't, I didn't feel like I didn't have control of the situation at all, really. I felt that, oh shit, oh my God, no, I sound like Law and Order. I literally was about to just say, it felt like I wanted it to happen, and I don't know if that's true. I know it wasn't, I know that it definitely wasn't true when the cops came here, but it's like in the middle of it, of the rape, the only thing I remember vividly is that my body tried to like convince my mind that this felt good and it was okay because you're gay. So it's like, well, you're gay, so this is what's gonna happen anyway. So like I guess I just tricked myself, and I've always felt really guilty because like I tell people that, you know, I think the worst part about being raped, a conversation that I think should be opened a lot more, is that because your body is really good at protecting itself, there was about 2 seconds where it was enjoyable. It felt good. End of day. And then I have to live with that. Mm-hmm. That it was the most painful thing that happened to me, but my body tried to convince myself that it was fine for 2 seconds. I think that's the...
Whose fault was it?
Mine. I mean, if I felt, if my mind convinced me of that, I don't know if anybody else would think that. But
think what?
Like, my mind tried to make it okay, I guess. So I kind of feel like if my mind made it okay, oh shit, this is hard. Ooh, okay. I kind of felt like if my mind made this okay, then somewhere deep in the recesses of my psyche is guilt. Like, maybe I did something to provoke it or something. And my mind was just following up. It's like, oh, well, I think this is kind of what you wanted, maybe not as violent, but I've never been able to explain why I felt that way, but I just have to live with that. So after that, if I can make my brain feel like that, then I figured it doesn't get much worse than that. Like,
can you so Sky, I can tell that you're working through a lot of stuff. I'm not able to quite keep up. So can you help me understand what you mean by guilt? So it's clear to me that you sort of figured something out. I'm just not able to follow you quite as quickly. So what do you feel guilty for?
Going in a gay chat room and like specifically not really talking. I didn't have anyone to talk to about being gay in my house. So it's like, I feel guilty for taking that method when maybe it would have been better to do something more healthy, like reach out to someone that's not in my family, or I don't know, something like that. Like that, the action that I took was like, why would I do that? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Sky, do you deserve forgiveness?
Absolutely not. 0%. No way. Because I mean, I did a lot. I did too much damage to people. Even now, like I lay in the wake of bring out your dead. Like there are so many lives that I've ruined, and then obviously, like, I mean, it doesn't get any worse than lying to your fans like 6 times and going through the exact same cycle to the point where even your most loyal fans are like, all right, we're done. And then I wanted forgiveness, but I would always like mess it up. So
at this point, you don't deserve it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
How would you feel if people did forgive you?
Well, I'd have to get my Nimbus 2000 and hop right on that fucking Quidditch team. That's the first thing that I would do. If people forgave me, I'm out there right now getting the Seeker, like for Hogwarts, for Gryffindor. No, I'm a Hufflepuff, but you know, that's how I feel.
Okay.
Getting that Nimbus.
Can I just think for a second, Sky?
Absolutely. I'm gonna just sit and look at my phone.
Sky, are you a good person?
No.
Okay. Do you are you loved?
I don't know.
Have you been loved before?
I don't know. I can't tell. Because that's what I struggled with my mom forever. Is after the rape, my brother told everyone and bullied me about it. Like, no one in the family seemed to think that was heinous or terrible. And it's like, oh, all right. You go to Nick's baby shower. He just put in 2017, 18, just put all my angry texts out there in Facebook and my Reddit, put all my rape business out and ridiculed it again. But yeah, let's go to Nick's baby shower. Like, trash. So if that's happening, how could you love someone and take that action? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Therefore,
I'm going to just think for another minute, okay? Thank you for answering
You're
those
fine.
questions.
You're cool.
So, Sky, first of all, do you have any questions for me? Because I think we may be coming to maybe a closing point soon. I want to just see if there's anything.
I mean, this part of me is very dark. And remember, in the beginning, I said like I feel like I have unfixable problems. I think that what we're diving into now is like the final lock and key.
I agree. It's the final boss. No question about that.
Yeah, basically. So I don't mind. I don't mind that being a stopping point at all.
Yeah. So I don't think we're done, but I just think that there's something I need to spend some time thinking about, and there's some thoughts that I want to share with you, and I'd love to get your reaction to what I want to share with you, but something tells me that your immediate reaction is not going to be as important as you thinking about this over the next few days.
Yeah, and I'm happy to do another show whenever. Of course.
So Sky, the first thing is that what I'm going to tell you, I think, is going to require immense courage.
Oh
And also, I don't blame you if you decide not to go down this road. But essentially, your entire life is built upon this very, very simple premise that needs to be yanked out from under you. And if it can be, then I think you can be fixed. But in order for this premise to be yanked out, you have to be willing to yank it out. And I think it's going to be absolutely terrifying because it's going to change the way that you see the world. But in order to do the things that I think you need to do to live a happy life, you have to change your worldview. So let me explain what I mean. You live a life where everything comes down to you. Everything is under your control. Everything is kind of your fault, both the good and the bad. That other people don't essentially have agency in the world. That other people acting are just based upon whether you can manipulate them enough to do the things that you want, right? Like either you're going to manipulate them and then they'll do the right thing, in which case you're responsible, or you're insufficient in terms of manipulating them, which is like your fault once again because you didn't like handle the relationship the right way, right? It doesn't presume that there's any kind of agency or control outside of you. Does that make sense? Also, like I think somewhere along the way you closed the doors to you being capable of being loved. And I didn't ask you if you're able to love. I think you are. I think what's challenging here is that I don't know if you're willing to take the risk to be loved again. Because I think that like... Huh?
Was that the yank the blanket?
The part of it, buddy. That's part of it. So I think you have to risk a lot of things. One is the possibility of understanding that other human beings actually have agency and control in this world, which is a terrifying thought, right? Because
it's
like taking a single player person and sticking them into a multiplayer game. They're like, this is not what I signed up for.
Oh, you learned how to clap back. Yes.
Right. So
that's exactly how I feel.
And so you, but like, and I think that there's a part of you. So now I want you to look within yourself. There's a part of you that recognizes that like when some people are like when you have a 12-year-old that gets raped by an adult man who found where the kid lived, you know that is not the 12-year-old's fault. Like, you know that. But it feels like it was your fault. And this is what happens to people who were abused. So people who are abused start to, it's almost, and it's not you're stupid. In fact, it's the opposite. So on a very simple level, it comes down to theory of mind. And now I'm going to get a little bit academic. So when you have a child, they're huh?
Well, yeah, just really quick. I just turned 15 at the time. I just wanted to.
Oh, 15. Fine.
Yeah, but go on. You're good.
So I think when kids are young, less so when they're 15, but when kids are young, they don't understand that other human beings have thoughts and feelings and have behaviors. Like, they just don't understand. They don't have like theory of mind. So they don't have the capacity to understand that I have a 2-year-old and my 2-year-old doesn't understand that like I have thoughts and feelings of my own. They're just, if they want daddy to like tell them a story at 3 a.m. when they've woken up, like they don't understand that I'm tired. Like, that doesn't compute. Their brain has not developed the capacity to understand that other human beings like think and act in a particular way and that they have their own reasons for doing things. Which is why abusing a child is so devastating, because if nothing else exists in the world, so let me put it this way. So like a 5-year-old is basically playing a single player game because their brain does not have the capacity to recognize that other people are actually, they think everyone is an NPC when it's actually like another, like it's like another player that's zoned into your server, but they think everything is NPCs. Does that make sense? And if something bad happens to a 5-year-old and you're in a world full of NPCs, whose fault is it?
Your fault.
Absolutely, right? Because everyone else is an NPC. And it's
wow. I never actually. Do you think that's linked to why like babies don't really have object permanence, and then like when you just make something disappear, they think it's gone forever because they can't. Okay.
So sort of. So object permanence is a slightly different thing.
Yeah,
but it is linked in the sense that that's one example of a fundamental capacity that a baby does not have that adults do have. And another capacity is called theory of mind, which is separate from object permanence, but which is your ability to like recognize that other people have persistent thoughts and feelings and are their own agents. So when it, go ahead.
Okay. It's just the water, right? Oh yeah, I mean that what you just said, like everyone have their own thoughts and feelings and agency. To me, I can't even imagine that being true. Like, so I know that sounds terrible though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So now we understand actually like the depth of, or sort of the, how can I say this? How deeply rooted this belief is in you. And the first question is like whether you're willing to try to live a life where you're not in control. Whether you're willing to try to live a life where you could let other people love you. And like it doesn't surprise me that you don't feel loved, because like love genuinely comes from another person. It's not something that you can control. You can't manipulate someone to love you. Like true authentic love, I don't think you can really manipulate out of someone. And so if you're the only agent, it doesn't surprise me that you're not able to kind of feel love, because it's like you don't really know what that is. Like, are you just manipulating them? Is that the way they're treating you that way? Like, and you also have this sort of,
oh my God, yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
So in order for you to feel love, you have to give people the opportunity to like have control over the way that they treat you. So your biggest,
I'm feeling so good, yeah.
huh?
And no, you said it so perfectly. God damn it. When you just said like, if someone feels a certain way about you, do they feel that way because you went through leaps and bounds to kind of manipulate your image?
Yep.
Or are you like, it's almost like I'm taking everyone in the world and saying, you don't have to have a first impression of me. Let me just go ahead and code in what I want you to think about me, like, so that you'll never get it wrong. Like but then what if someone just hates you? Oh, this is terrible.
So Sky,
This is terrible.
so I started this off with, it requires courage on a level that you have never experienced.
This is terrible thought.
Yes, right? You have to be willing to let them hate you.
Ooh. Oh no. I would rather think about existing and death times 10 than this.
I know. So it requires courage on an order of magnitude that you have never had.
But what if they hate me? But if I just was able to tell them a little about me, they would like me.
Sky.
Oh God.
Okay. Listen
Yes.
to me. What would it feel like? So you're scared of hate, but I'm going to ask you another question. What would it feel like if you didn't manipulate someone and they chose to love you instead? If they actually said, you know what, despite all of your BS and with you just being you and without manipulating me, I love you. How would that make you feel?
There would be a comma afterwards. I say, I love you. Now we're late for Quidditch is what I would hear. That's how crazy again it is to me. Like, that's what I would hear. Like, oh, even though you didn't, make me feel a certain way about you, I love you. Let's go win for Gryffindor. Like, that is how absolutely impossible. But it's not like I'm a monster or something. It's that like I don't even really like. Well, I mean, I hate myself. I mean, many of us do. We just don't really want to say it. So it's like, if I hate who I am, well, I'm not gonna let other people see this mess as for what it is, because then they'll hate me too. That's crazy. There's no way.
Yeah.
I have to show at least that I have the desire and the will to change and be better. Otherwise, what's the point? Why even be loved? Like, if you're not gonna love yourself, this doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Damn, I must sound like a psycho.
No, I don't think you sound like a psycho. I think you sound like someone who was abused and wasn't sufficiently loved when you were growing up. That's what when people are abused and don't have an appropriate home environment to get them through that abuse, they end up sounding like you. I don't think you're psycho. I think it's the only way that you've learned how to survive. This all of these thoughts and constructions that you have are about survival. Because the thought that someone could see you for who you are and accept you is mind-boggling, and there's no fucking way that you're willing to risk it. And because you never risk it, you're never getting data to the contrary of your opinion. You've never given an opportunity for someone to love you. So how can you possibly be loved? Because at this point, you're just fake. And what I'm asking you to do requires a lot of courage. It requires you to let someone see the real you, and then let them make their own decision, and then understand, because it's devastating. Because like there's even a part of you that actually doubts that you're actually a piece of shit, but you would rather sit in the comfort of the thought that you're a piece of shit rather than risk the chance that it could be wrong, and then like you really know for 100%.
Because that's the same thing as like my channel is like, I could put 100% into my videos. I've never done that.
Yep.
I have
because
never done it.
Because then you've got the slice of protection, right?
Yeah, right.
And I'm not actually a failure. I just didn't give it my all.
Yeah, and then now it's like,
so Sky, this comes down
it worked out
to courage, courage. I don't care about what worked out. So you just have to decide, are you willing to live a life where you are willing to risk it? Are you willing to be loved? Are you willing to be successful? Are you willing to fail? Are you willing to be rejected? This is the question you have to ask yourself. Do you want to try to live a different way?
I don't know if I can. And I don't know. As I am right now, I think of myself as honestly like disgusting.
Yep.
Like actually repulsive.
Okay.
So, in mind, body, everything. So it's like,
give yourself some time, okay? So the first thing is, I think it's good that you're moving out, and I think the more that you prioritize yourself, you're going to build a little bit of confidence. I think it's actually a huge step forward that you're moving out. The second thing is that I do think you can repair your relationships, and I think you can pay off your debt and stuff like that. Not to say that I can, not to say that that's guaranteed or anything, but I have faith in you, and that's not just like because I'm just a generally good guy and I have faith in people. I think if you're able to make money at some point in life, generally speaking, like you don't just randomly make, like, sure, winning the lottery is the exception, but even being like on YouTube, like a YouTube personality or whatever, a Twitch personality, like there's something that resonated with your community that's like still there. It's like a skill that you have, and as long as you're able to kind of like pick it up and polish it off, like I think you'll be able to start generating revenue again. Maybe you won't, maybe I have no idea, but I think it's possible for you, and that's like sort of like it's a scientific statement. It's not like a, like a I'm a nice dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've clearly demonstrated that I have the tools to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you can do this. I think the last thing, and I'm going to try to help you with this,
of course,
but and we're going to meditate. I'm
listening and I'm also taking notes because what you just said to me.
I think you have to just be willing to like let yourself be wrong on all of this stuff.
Oh,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Because like and I think what you're gonna get is gonna be just as amazing as Quidditch. Like you're gonna be surprised. Like if you actually let yourself be loved by someone, it's about as good as Quidditch.
A flying broom? I would take a flying broom over Love Free.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I see what you mean though. Like,
I mean,
I'm sure it's an amazing feeling.
So I mean, I'd say that just for the sake of seeing what that feels like, I think you've got to try it so you can report back and let us know.
How do okay, last question. What do you feel is the first step to trying that?
Good.
Assuming I would.
We're going to meditate.
That's
going to be number one. Okay?
What is?
We're going to meditate. I'm going to show you. We're going to do the first step right now.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, sorry, no procrastination.
I mean, no darn.
Okay. So, Sky, I want you to sit up straight.
Okay. Let me get in this damn chair. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Close your eyes. And you guys can do this at home. Especially if you resonate with Sky, because I'm going to ask some weird questions. So, Sky, you're busted, right? Like, fundamentally. Agree?
Well, when you say busted, what do you mean like in a good way, like you're broken good, you're amazing, you're powerful, or
Like
busted,
you're like a piece of crap,
yes,
right?
that one,
Incapable of being loved. That one.
Yes.
You're fundamentally broken and unfixable. So I want you to tell me, I want you to try to find where that comes from in your body. So where does that feeling arise from? Like, what is it that can you find the fundamental brokenness within you, the part of you that is unfixed? Does it live anywhere in your being?
My weight.
Okay.
All of it. Yeah, I would say my weight.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can see.
Okay. So are you saying that kind of intellectually, or you're saying, are you kind of like you're feeling the heaviness of your body and you're like, yeah, this is like kind of a busted thing?
I mean, I could even use this as an example. Like just a minute ago, you kind of readjusted yourself on a chair and you stood up a bit and we could see your body. I never make a situation where that's possible. So it's like I'm already frame one manipulating the way that I look. Just take selfie angles. There's an entire show on catfishing. Like the idea of being someone else or letting people see only what they need to see. Is like
stop talking for a second. And where do you, so all of the thoughts that you just had, can you find them somewhere in your body? Even if it's in your mind, that's fine. Like, I know that sounds kind of weird, but like just feel the person that you are, which is fundamentally someone who is in control of the world and incapable of love. That's the person that you are. Agree or disagree? Is that the person that you are right now?
Yes, agree.
That's Sky, right? And you are Sky.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Now we're going to try some Om chanting, which we did, I think, earlier in the week, but for those of you who are here. So we're going to try to practice this again. So I'm going to teach you how to chant Om. So this is going to be kind of weird, and hopefully we don't blow everyone's ears off. So Om is composed of 3 syllables, A, U, and Okay, so I'm going to chant once. And you go through all 3 of those sounds over the course of one breath. Okay, so remember that chanting is about not sound, it's about vibration. So I want you to feel the vibration in your body as you chant those sounds. Okay, so we're going to do it together. So,
and the sound is A, I, U.
A, U,
A, U.
Perfect. Yeah, very good. So let's do it together. So deep breath in.
It's tight. Whoa.
Bigger breath. Let me hear it. Let me hear it again. Big deep breath. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to spend longer on the oo. So big deep breath, as big as you could take, and stretch it out as long as you can. One more time. Good. Much better.
Yeah.
Now,
Did it.
I want you to increase the vibration. Okay, one more time. We'll do it together.
Okay.
Good. Again. y'all are watching at home, y'all should do this too.
Yeah, this is actually tight.
Okay, let's do it again. Big breath in. Four more breaths. Big deep breath. Two more. Make him count. Last one. Give it everything you've got.
Yeah. What the hell?
And I want you to just feel the person that you are. And try to get a sense of like, what's wrong with this person? Sort of feel the remnants of vibration. Just feel like, how does it feel right now?
It's like it feels like I'm closing my eyes, obviously, and it just feels like my mind is like shaving off pieces of my mind. It's weird. Like,
good. Keep shaving, buddy.
It's like, yeah, it literally is just, yeah. When you said, is this person terrible or something?
Yeah.
I was actually going to answer no.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yep.
But
very weird, right? It's a new sensation to not be a terrible person.
Right? I guess it is possible.
So it's not about whether it's possible. It's about trying. Okay, so Sky, I want you to start by doing this practice every day for 3 to 5 minutes. 9 breaths. 9 rounds.
3 to 5 months, you said?
3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, shit. Day. Okay, yeah.
So 9 breaths. Oof. And just sit with the person that you are before the practice. It's a different Sky from where you are after the practice. The feeling won't last long, but I want you to have an experience of yourself where you aren't a piece of shit. And that starts for a few moments after meditation. Just sit with that person, hang out with that person.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm down.
Okay. All right,
I'll
good.
Try.
All right, good. Questions before we wrap up for the day?
Yeah, are you God?
No.
Like then that's it. That's all I have to ask.
I appreciate
well, this is
no.
As usual.
No, if I was God, then I couldn't actually help anyone. But as it turns out, I'm human. And so the cool thing about being human is that the experiences that I have, I can actually, like, the things that happen to me in my growth in life is actually applicable to other humans. Right? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Shit. Well, I look forward to our next meeting. This is actually amazing.
I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do that 9 breaths every day
Yep.
because I think we're at when it comes to me and my unfixable problems, the finish line is what we brought up earlier, and I'm looking forward to at least trying what I can to do it. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll try.
Good. I'm very happy to hear that. So just give it your best and don't beat yourself up when you inevitably screw up, which is okay because screw ups are a normal part of life and it doesn't mean that they can't be fixed. So if you
Right.
miss a day on meditation, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just pick it up the next day or in 2 days or in 3 days. Pick it up when you can, when you're able to. And I don't know where you live, but if there's any kind of meditation center that you can go to, that could help a lot.
I'm gonna put that too.
Because it helps to be in a community with other people who meditate, just to keep you on track. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sky. Good job.
Thank
today.
you. Thank you as usual. Thank you for today.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna have a lot to think about.
Yeah, I'm not willing to give up hope on you yet, and I'm glad that you're willing to entertain the idea that maybe you are fixable.
Well, I'm gonna go shower and cry.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good cry, my friend. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.
All right.